So the first film, the car wash film, was there any plans to sell that, or you realized this is a film that's going to be sort of my calling card?
Yes, I never thought at the very beginning of films I was making as things that were going to be sold. I think that a lot of filmmakers now, when they make their shorts or make their web series or whatever it is they're making to kind of break into the film business, they always have an eye towards monetizing it. And I'm not saying you don't need to monetize your work. Everybody needs to pay your bills. I like living comfortably. I'm sure a lot of other people do too. But I think when you're starting out, you've got to find other ways to monetize your life so you can advance your career. Because if at the onset you're thinking about films like The Car Wash or Followed or some of my earlier work, if you have that as an eye towards monetization, you may not get anyone watching it because no one knows who you are. You don't have a track record, you don't have any press, you don't have any authority to start charging people for your work because you're starting out, you're beginning. Just like if you were going to a 9-to-5 job and you were stepping in the office in an entry-level position, that's what you are as a starting filmmaker, in an entry-level position. And so if you give away your work, like The Car Wash or like Followed, all those different things, then you give yourself the opportunity to get as many eyeballs as possible. It's a lot easier with the internet and social media these days than that used to be, so that people watch it, hopefully people write about it, people talk about it and share it, so then hopefully it might get in the hands of the right person or the right press outlet that will help you to make your next project. But I think that if you worry about monetization at the onset, as I did not with The Car Wash, then you're going to start putting roadblocks into your career at an age where you shouldn't be.
So let's take some of those classmates that you may have known back at Georgia Southern,
Sure.
who wanted to, from the onslaught, maybe sounds like, and you know, don't see why not, but make this $500,000 feature film right out of the gate. Somehow you knew that, you know, I need to take smaller chunks to do this. Were there others that you saw try to just jump off that diving board, and what happened?
Sure. I mean, I've seen many filmmakers in my career. Well, one of the things that you see as a filmmaker, I think, and this is actually one of the hardest things I think you have to swallow, is when you start as a filmmaker, there's a lot of people that want to do it. Everybody wants to work in film. Everybody wants to work independently and say, hey, I don't go to a 9-to-5 job every day. I write all day, or I film all day, or I edit all day. And as you get older and as you get more experience, slowly the people you started with, some of them start peeling off, some of them disappear from the business entirely, and then eventually there's only a handful of you that started at the same point. And I think that what separates people is the fact that you have to take those tiny steps and not those big leaps. If you try to make a feature film before you've made a series of shorts or documentaries or whatever it is, you may not have the storytelling capacity to make a feature film, because a feature film is a much different ball game than making a short. You can make a really effective short film, but if you don't understand the progression and the logistics of character development, of narrative arcs, of shooting out of order to put something back in order and make sense dramatically, that's a difficult task. And I think if you just start out doing that, not to say that there aren't examples of people that have done that effectively and successfully, but I think for the vast majority of folks, including some people I started with, they didn't have that capacity, and thus they didn't get attention and weren't able to make their second project.